Warmest welcome even before he arrives. Huge celebrations that break out with Biden, the President of the United States, wanting him for an intimate dinner. He's been invited to several events, a business community event as well, a lot more with Prime Minister Modi to arrive into the United States tomorrow. I'm going to take you through all of that on 5 Live. I'm Nabila Jamal. The headlines first. Amid this raging controversy and demand to ban the film Adipurush, IMB Minister Anurag Thakur has warned no one is allowed to hurt religious sentiments. Meanwhile, dialogue writer seeks security, citing threat to his life. Political war over Gandhi Peace Prize. After Geeta Press was awarded Gandhi Peace Prize, Congress hits out, says it's similar to awarding Savarkar or Nathuram Godse. Now, incessant rains trigger flood fury in Assam, Chennai and Rajasthan. Across 13 districts affected in Assam, situation is expected to only get worse. Manipur is on the edge. Victims of violence hit the streets, demanding Prime Minister's intervention to control the situation, while Chief Minister Biren Singh has appealed for peace in the state. And after massive power tariff hike, the trade body in Karnataka fuming. In fact, they've warned of going on a statewide bandh. Siddaramaiah says the bills appear heavy because 2 bills were clubbed in one. Next month onwards, situation should be better. But is the Karnataka Chamber of Commerce really convinced? All right, just barely a day to go for Prime Minister Narendra Modi to finally arrive and kickstart his mega US state visit, the first that he will be attending June 21st to June 24th. He is going to be focusing on strengthening, of course, India and United States ties, many trade deals that's on the cards. The trip will have a series of interactions which will focus on strengthening bilateral relationship between India and the United States. An intimate dinner with Joe Biden, a meeting with the business community of the United States as well as the Indian diaspora. It seems like Prime Minister Modi indeed a popular figure there, the kind of welcome and warmth he's received even before he's arrived. Let's have a look.
A 21-gun salute, state banquet, congressional speech. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States promises to be high in form.
To you,
Symbolism aside, the Prime Minister's official state tour of the world's most powerful nation is going to be equally high in substance.
The second key component which has been a very strong pillar of our relationship has been strong trade and investment partnership. Whether you look at the quantum of bilateral trade touching close to $200 billion or the strong flow of capital on both sides.
A visit that offers an opportunity to US to strengthen its economic and security cooperation with India. More so when the Biden administration seeks an Asian partner as a counter-influence to an increasingly assertive China.
China's grown its economy from about 5 trillion only 10 years ago to 18 trillion just in 10 years. Now they've done some of that in very bad ways and they've run up a lot of debt. But I think India is doing it the slow, methodical way that they need to by encouraging trade with that huge consumer base as well as somebody who can produce a lot of things that are both technologically advanced as well as just production. I think we can pair with them in very good, beneficial ways to both countries.
India's economic system has changed for better in the past 9 years. Supply chains and industries better linked than before.
The second key component which has been a very strong pillar of our relationship has been strong trade and investment partnership. whether you look at the quantum of bilateral trade touching close to $200 billion or the strong flow of capital on both sides.
A more resilient industrial production also in place. India prepared to talk to the US from the position of strength during the upcoming visit, especially in the areas of critical and emerging technologies, high-powered computing and regulatory barriers coming in its way.
A number of the deliverables at that visit are not just bullet points on a page. They are fundamentally designed to remove those obstacles in defense trade, in high-tech trade, in investment in each of our countries, in taking away obstacles that have stood in the way of better collaboration among our scientists and researchers, in stimulating greater access for our students going both ways, for Americans coming to India, Indians coming to the United States.
On the plate is a rich yet balanced program. No heavy tilt towards one over the other. It is quite natural that when the India-US delegations would meet, the global impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict would definitely be one of the points of priority questions. With US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in China during his much-awaited trip to the Beijing this weekend, the atmosphere in Indo-Pacific regional security, India's fundamental strengths and the situation in the subcontinent likely to figure in discussions during Prime Minister Modi's visit to the US starting next week.
This partnership is crucial for fostering peace, prosperity, and stability around the globe, especially in the Indo-Pacific region.
Both sides concretizing agreements. The official announcement is expected once pacts are finalized. With Geeta Mohan, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so we see Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States is significant on many levels. In fact, he is the only third Prime Minister of India to be invited for an official state visit into the United States, and also only the first to be addressing the Congress of the US Congress, the second time around. Let me cut across to really what's on the agenda. If I could break it down for our viewers here on exactly what the agenda is. And before that, this quick image here showing the kind of welcome that Prime Minister has received even before he's arrived into the United States. So what's on the agenda here? We're looking at key defense deals that's all set to be inked. This was already anticipated, and we believe the Predator drones is one of those deals that is much awaited, has already cleared. In fact, all the bureaucracy on it has already cleared files. It's all set to only be decided with a final stamp. Military technology cooperation between India and the United States is extensively going to be discussed. This is the kind of policy understanding and trade understanding between the two countries, which is this time going to be edged between Prime Minister Modi and Joe Biden. The talks on Indo-Pacific region as well is going to be one of the top focus, and of course Chinese aggression. The reason to why India is receiving that kind of welcome, of course, apart from India being a thriving economy at this point, we're seeing US-Chinese relations have immensely strained, and India now looking to take that spot. America clearly seeing that kind of potential in India. Let me cut across to our reporters joining us. Of course, Geeta Mohan is in the United States. Geeta, and Gaurav Sawant is very closely tracking Prime Minister Modi's arrival into the United States tomorrow. Geeta, I'm going to start with you. This much-awaited visit of Prime Minister Modi has already, erupted in such conversation, debates, euphoria. That's what people calling it, Modi euphoria. This is the first time that Prime Minister Modi is going to be, or maybe the third world leader. Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, we believe, are the only two who have addressed the US Congress twice in the past. Prime Minister Modi to be the third.
Well, that's right. A historic moment. Only a few have had the rare honor of addressing the joint meeting of the Congress twice over, and on more than one occasion. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one of them. Nabila will be leaving for the United States tonight, and we will start our coverage from ground zero from tomorrow onwards. But it is an exciting moment for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, for the Modi administration. There are a lot of key outcomes that we will be seeing, deliverables that we will be seeing during the visit, whether it is, according to a report that we've just put out, the jet engine deal, the General Electric for F414 jet engine deal, or for that matter, Predator drones, which would be worth $3 billion. So a lot on the anvil, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to do a few very important things. One, to make the entire visit look different, there is going to be an intimate dinner, apart from the state banquet that will be hosted by President Biden and the First Lady on the second day. The first day in Washington, D.C., there is going to be an intimate dinner with the Biden family. And then we are looking at a very, very strong engagement of Prime Minister Modi, not just with the strategic community, but with the business community. He's addressing over 900 delegates at the Kennedy Center. He's going to have a one-on-one with top business honchos spread over the 2 days in Washington, D.C. And then he will end his entire visit with what he does in every visit of his, which is engage the Indian diaspora. The Indian community will be waiting for him at the hotel in New York, as also in Washington, to welcome him in both the cities. And yes, he's going to begin with the big International Day of Yoga. It's after 9 years the Prime Minister Modi is going to be in the United Nations at the headquarters, at the UN headquarters, doing yoga with quite a few prominent people from the United Nations and from across the world.
So we know the agenda now. At least the itinerary is quite clear. Prime Minister Modi's jam-packed schedule. 4-day visit, 21st to 24th in the United States. Gaurav Sawant, as we see India right now looking at bolstering ties with the United States. And we're seeing here, at least with the welcome that Prime Minister Modi has received, it's United States looking to benefit from India's involvement in policy and trade a lot more. We're seeing that this is the first time that Prime Minister Modi has been called on a state visit, and the kind of bonhomie that we see between Joe Biden and Prime Minister Modi. One would think that after the whole Namaste Trump event that Modi had organized for Trump in India, this kind of welcome or warmth will not be shown by the Biden administration, but contrary to that belief.
You know, these are relationships between two countries, two very powerful democracies who need each other. And, you know, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about this many times in the past when he said when India and the United States of America meet, they don't just talk about how the two countries will benefit from each other, but how the two democracies working together will benefit the entire humankind, the entire world. That's the effort that both the countries attempt to put in. You know, be that as it may, India hopes to benefit a lot in terms of getting military hardware, and not just buying that military hardware, but manufacturing that military hardware in India for export across the world. You know, Geeta spoke of the GEF 414 engines. You know, that's been in the works for over a decade now. Should that actually happen, you know, should the deal actually happen, and even parts of those engine are made in India initially, and then that entire engine is made for, well, first the LCA Mark II and then the AMCA 5th generation aircraft. It would be a huge game changer for India, especially if that technology can then translate into India manufacturing our own engine. Remember the problems that have been faced over decades with the Kaveri engine, and this is a problem that India has grappled with right from the 1950s when the Hindustan fighter HF-24 Marut experiment was initiated. Despite that being a twin-engine aircraft, that project wasn't taken forward. Many lessons learned. India intends to take this forward. You know, the two of you were talking about the Guardian, the Sea Guardian drones, the Predators and the Reapers. Again, an immense game changer when it comes to taking on, you know, an adversary like China in the Indian Ocean region or in the Indo-Pacific. So there is a lot, and this is just the tip of the iceberg in what India and America intend to do together.
And that was precisely what I was also beginning with at this point, keeping aside all the bonhomie and the intimate dinner, etc., whatnot. The fact that this is a state visit and India is going to be inking some really important trade and policy deals, that takes the whole dimension of India-US relations to another level. Thank you very much, but do stay with us, Geeta and Gaurav. The Indian diaspora, on the other hand, is really excited, of course, of Prime Minister Modi's visit, a historic visit of sorts, a state visit on the invitation of Joe Biden. they've organized a unity march to express their enthusiasm for Prime Minister Modi's arrival. A Vande Mataram, a gathering where the country itself, about 4.5 million people, members belonging to the Indian diaspora, who've come out, reverberated the spirit of Prime Minister Modi landing into the country. And this is the kind of support and celebration that they displayed. Let's have a look.
A vibrant atmosphere. An atmosphere of anticipation and excitement fills the air. The Indian diaspora in the United States preparing to extend a resounding welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Joining hands in a powerful display of unity, banners and placards proudly proclaim their admiration for their leader in their adopted homeland. Prime Minister Modi scheduled to address the diaspora on June 23 at the prestigious Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C.
जिसके लिए इंडिया के दिल में आदर है, प्यार है, वही इंडिया को लीड कर सकता है. And Modi ji has that quality. Number one quality, he loves India. He does everything for India, not for anybody in particular.
We are here to welcome, along with the rest of our Indian American community, Modi ji.
At the diplomatic, strategic and economic levels, India and the United States ties to forge new avenues of collaboration.
The reason this evening is so important is our conviction that at the heart of the strategic relationship between our countries are economic ties. And under the leadership of President Biden and Prime Minister Modi and private sector leaders in this room tonight and beyond, it is growing stronger by the day.
There's innumerable reasons why India certainly matters, not just bilaterally between the two of our nations, but multilaterally on very many levels. And the President's looking forward very much to having Prime Minister Modi here to talk about all those issues and to advance and deepen that partnership and that friendship.
Prominent voices of foreign policy matters have described Prime Minister Modi's visit starting June 21 as a pivotal moment in the India-US relationship.
Welcome to Washington, D.C., Prime Minister Modi. The Prime Minister's state visit is a significant moment in the U.S.-India relationship. I have many fond memories of my visit to India in 2019. I hope Prime Minister Modi will have the same opportunities to experience all the richness of the United States during his visit.
India's arrival on the global stage a tangible reality. The upcoming visit of Prime Minister Modi to the United States poised to strengthen the existing ties between these two nations even further. Bureau Report, India Today.
So the Defence Acquisition Council today has approved the procurement of this hunter-killer predator and Sea Guardian drones for the Indian Armed Forces. The MQ-9 Reaper version of these lethal drones were used to kill Al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri in Kabul. In fact, the United States and India have been negotiating for this procurement of the lethal unmanned combat aerial vehicles capable of long endurance, intelligence gathering, surveillance, reconnaissance missions and precision strikes using the deadly Hellfire missiles. Cutting across to this report where we're going to break down for you the real capabilities of these drones that will soon be in India's arsenal.
These lethal long-endurance, medium-altitude drones may soon be the new weapons in the arsenal of the Indian Armed Forces. The Defence Acquisition Council on Thursday gave its nod for the acquisition of the Sea Guardian drones. The Army, the Navy and the Air Force are looking at 10 drones each. The Indian Navy has already leased two MQ-9 Sea Guardians, the naval version of the drones, for intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance operations since 2020.
ये जो डील है ये हमारे देश की मैरीटाइम और ओवरऑल सिक्योरिटी के लिए बहुत ही ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि सर्वेलेंस सबसे ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण स्थान रखता है, क्योंकि हमें चाहिए कि हम अपनी एरिया में जहाँ एरिया ऑफ ऑपरेशंस है वहाँ निगरानी रख सकें, और ये क्षमता इस कैपेबिलिटी से हमें मिलती है।
The MQ-9A Reaper drones were used for the precision targeting of Al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri in Kabul. These unmanned combat aerial vehicles, apart from a number of sensors, cameras and radars, are also capable of carrying 4 Hellfire missiles for precision targeting of high-value targets. Both the Army and the Air Force are looking at these drones for high-risk operations to destroy strategic assets of the adversary without risking the lives of pilots. These hunter-killer drones can carry 4 Hellfire missiles. They're also capable of carrying 2 laser-guided bombs and 2 joint-action JDAMs. These drones can fly at an altitude of 40,000 feet and remain airborne for over 36 hours. They're also capable of loitering in the sky, scanning the ground below for the enemy. The MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones come with both maritime surveillance, reconnaissance and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The drones are capable of providing over-the-horizon surveillance and reconnaissance support both to warships and surface units. With increased Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region, coupled with Chinese aggression along the LAC, these UCAVs will help keep an eye on the adversary both in the Himalayas and in the Indian Ocean region, and take out strategic targets when needed. Bureau Report, India Today.
These Predator drones, in fact, are so precise and accurate when it comes to hunting down their targets that the United States have been actually successful in a bunch of their missions using this very Sea Guardian Predator drones. If I could take you through the kind of successful missions that United States has pulled off. Here's a quick look at the people who were on their target list. They managed to actually crack down on them with the help of these Predator drones. The very famous Qasem Soleimani, the way the United States hunted him down, the commander of the Quds Force, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Baghdad 2020, that he was hunted down. We also know Al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri, who was shot down in Kabul in 2022. We also see a few more, including Akhtar Mohammad Mansoor, who's a Taliban supreme leader in Balochistan in 2016, that these very drones managed to track him and shoot him down. In fact, Baitullah Mehsood, leader of the Tariq-e-Taliban Pakistan in South Waziristan, in 2009, he was tracked and hunted down. Now, these are the targets that they've managed to achieve with this very precise and deadly Predator drones, which India now is all set to lap up in its army arsenal. Now, after coming, at this point, when we see after coming to power in 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi itself, he's visited the United States multiple times. In fact, he has had multiple visits, meeting with the Prime Minister at that point in 2014 as well. In September, he had met with Barack Obama, the president then. He also met with Indian American community in the Madison Square. The reason why we're taking you through this is to show you the kind of reception and warmth that Prime Minister Modi received at that point in time. In 2014, when he came to power, this was how Modi was welcomed. The kind of dazzle we saw, he was welcomed like a true rock star. The crowds cheering on for Prime Minister Modi. His every move was very closely watched. All that and more. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's previous visits to the United States. Listing that out for you. Take a look.
Four months after the 2014 landslide victory at the Lok Sabha polls, Narendra Damodar Das arrived at Uncle Sam's doorstep. The United States of America had till then refused a visa to the Chief Minister of Gujarat. But then, when the same person arrived as the Prime Minister of India, the US laid out a red carpet welcome. The combined hearts of the Indian diaspora seemed to burst with pride. At the Madison Square event, the politician Prime Minister dazzled like a genuine rock star, and the crowds swooned at his every move.
Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
After Madison Square, the Prime Minister enthralled surging crowds at the New York Central Park. Standing next to Hollywood star Hugh Jackman at the Global Citizen Festival, he connected with the youth with the line that till then had been synonymous only with the Star Wars movies.
May the force be with you.
And the newly minted Prime Minister of India had breakfast with the CEOs of global enterprises. Over a series of one-on-one meetings, Modi met the top bosses of financial biggies and made time to catch up with India-born corporate leaders based in the US. He invited investment from prominent CEOs and urged the Indian-American community to take up a greater role in the development of India. The first 4-day trip to the USA was blitzkrieg in nature and impressive enough to change his image for years to come as the man who was going to build New India. Exactly a year later, the Prime Minister of India was back to reconnect and revive the ties made earlier. This time, he had 24 hours more to work on. The Prime Minister had a working dinner in which major Fortune 500 companies were present to deliberate on investment opportunities in India. Prime Minister Modi visited the West Coast, the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister after almost 33 years. Considered the home of startups, innovation and technology. He took part in town hall Q&A at the Facebook headquarters along with its CEO Mark Zuckerberg.
मैं बहुत गरीब परिवार से हूँ। आप जानते हैं मैं रेलवे स्टेशन पे चाय बेचता था। हमारे पिताजी तो रहे नहीं है। माता जी है 90 साल से भी ज़्यादा उम्र है। आज भी अपने सारे काम खुद करती हैं।
Prime Minister Modi also addressed a renewable energy roundtable at Stanford University. And then he interacted with the Indian community in San Jose. 6 months later, in his quick 2-day trip to US, the Prime Minister made time to catch up with scientists from the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. 3 months after that, came another 3-day trip in June 2016, when Prime Minister Modi addressed the 40th AGM of the US-India Business Council and met US business leaders. He exchanged views with US think tanks and attended a ceremony marking the return of Indian antiques. He laid wreaths at the tomb of the unknown soldier. He also laid a wreath at the Space Shuttle Columbia Memorial linked to the memory of Indian origin astronaut Kalpana Chawla. The year was 2019 and Narendra Modi had just led BJP to yet another historic victory in the Lok Sabha elections. Flush with the victory that had given him a resounding mandate. Prime Minister Modi resumed his US outreach with the iconic Howdy Modi event at Houston's NRG Stadium. The President of USA, Donald Trump, joined him in an unparalleled show of romance. The Prime Minister of India replied with,
अब की बार ट्रम्प सरकार। Thank you.
And a victory lap with Trump at the last leg of the marquee event, with the diaspora growing hoarse, cheering for their favorite son of the soil. On the heels of the successful Howdy Modi event, the Prime Minister of India addressed the opening plenary of the Bloomberg Global Business Forum in New York. In each of his visits to the US, Prime Minister Modi has sought to impart new energy in the bilateral relationship between the US and India. He connected with the business community and the Indian diaspora. And he presented India defined by the contours of his own vision of a land brimming with opportunity, a nation that could be a reliable business partner, and a country that was friendly to the United States and all the businesses that it stood for.
All right, now we're slipping into a short break. Coming up on the other side, news from Karnataka as the Karnataka Chamber of Commerce now threatening to go on a statewide bund over this huge power tariff hike, which the commerce body claims they cannot bear any longer. They'll have to shut business. Serious allegations being made that Congress is trying to give out their guarantees promised or live up to their guarantees by hiking prices of electricity for those businesses in the state. More on that on the other side. Do stay with us.
On the day that Trump celebrated his 77th birthday at a Cuban restaurant, he also appeared in a Miami court pleading not guilty to 37 felony charges for unlawfully keeping national security documents when he left office and lying to officials who sought to recover them.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday. Some birthday. We got a government that's out of control.
Trump's plea entered before U.S. Magistrate Judge Aileen Mercedes Cannon in a federal court in Miami, setting up a legal battle likely to play out over coming months as he campaigns to win back the presidency in November 2024 elections. Experts say it could be a year or more before a trial takes place. The case stems from the former president's alleged retention of sensitive national security documents at his residence in Florida and his alleged efforts to impede authorities' attempts to retrieve them. But a defiant Trump maintains he did nothing wrong.
In other words, whatever documents a president decides to take with him, he has the right to do so. It's an absolute right. This is the law. And that is something that people have now seen, and it couldn't be more clear. They ought to drop this case immediately because they're destroying the country.
Interestingly, the federal criminal charges against Donald Trump have done little to change Americans' views of the former president.
He's the best president we ever had. Trump bought the law, but we know Trump won.
Based on an opinion poll, which showed him maintaining a commanding lead in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Meanwhile, Trump has vowed to pay the ruling dispensation in the same coin should he return to power in 2024.
I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate.
just like Twitter, now you can be verified on Meta platforms Instagram and Facebook by paying a small fee. In this case, just rupees $6.99. What does this mean? Can anybody be verified? No, there are some eligibility criteria. For starters, all the people applying for a paid verified badge on Meta platforms need to be of 18 years of age. Moreover, they'll have to get their government ID verified and would also have to send in a selfie to make sure that this is their account and it's not an impersonator. Let's see what New Delhi thinks about this development. Arjun, how often do you use Instagram?
I guess 2 to 3 hours daily.
Daily, I guess 2 hours.
10 to 12 times a day.
Almost every hour of my day.
It's frequent these days since the exams are over. Do you think you will be buying the Insta or Meta verified now?
No, I don't think so. I will buy it.
Do you know there's this big change where anybody can buy the blue tick?
Yeah. No, I didn't know this. Yeah, it's actually very shocking. Like, I thought, how is everybody getting a blue tick?
Do you ever plan on buying it yourself?
No, I didn't.
I plan on getting a blue tick, but not by money, by my own hard work.
Yes, for sure the value will go down because earlier you have to hard work for it. I do think that earlier the legacy blue tick was a really big thing because people used to earn that through Instagram. They couldn't buy it and they had to be a really big deal to get a blue tick. They had to be a celebrity and some sort, but now it's just a way to flex your money.
It was used to be a big thing for everybody using Instagram and especially for influencers because they work very hard to get that blue tick, but now you can just get it for $6.99, so that's very bad actually.
I think that it is going to increase the number of scams that we are having in the market. Like anyone can pay an amount of $6.99 and buy a blue tick.
Do you think this has sort of also dissolved the value of the existing, like you said, legacy blue ticks? Now, do you think those content creators are in any way feeling bad about it?
Everything has its pros and cons. For example, some content creators were, I think, famous, but they didn't get the blue tick because of some reason, I don't know. But now they can actually buy the blue tick and be a part of the community.
Definitely the small businesses that are not getting so much, sociality, they will get like very good benefit from this, but definitely there will be many more fake accounts and many more people who will misuse this. I don't see any benefit in it.
Like you just saw, New Delhi is not receiving this latest development where anybody can buy the Instagram blue tick in just rupees $6.99. Well, for starters, when we spoke to content creators, they say that this has reduced the value that their verified badge had because they had to do it the hard way by creating content, engaging people and increasing an audience on Instagram. On the other side, when we spoke to people who consume content via Instagram, they say that this has reduced the value of the existing blue ticks. Moreover, they're also wary because there's no difference in the legacy blue ticks and the blue ticks that people are going to receive by paying rupees $6.99. Next, there's one good thing that comes out of this. That is that Instagram will now be able to rein in fake profiles and impersonators because the verified badge will only be achieved by people who verify their government ID. This was a Tech Today exclusive report.
All right, now, as we see freebies that Siddaramaiah Sarkar has promised, one of that has landed them in trouble. The Karnataka Chamber of Commerce has called a statewide bandh. 22nd of June, they've said they're going to shut shop, protesting against the power tariff hike that Siddaramaiah government has announced. And soon after the bandh was announced, Siddaramaiah addressed their concerns, but also said at the same time that the electricity tariff will not change for now. They're only finding it expensive because 2 months' bill came together at once. It was clubbed and presented to them. That's why it looked expensive for them. Firing salvos now at the Siddaramaiah Sarkar, BJP has asserted how Congress's 5 promises are betrayal of the people of Karnataka, and those who earlier paid 500 rupees are now forced to pay 1,200 rupees for electricity. Highlighting how industries now are going to shut shop in Karnataka and leave. There could be mass exodus of businesses after this 30% power hike.
ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ದರ ಹೆಚ್ಚಳಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ವಿರೋಧ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. ಮರುಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕರೆದು FKCC ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಿಗರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೈಸೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ?
ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಲ್ರಿ, ಈ 2 ತಿಂಗಳದು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಭಾರವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಅದರಿಂದ ಮುಂದಿನ ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ತಿಂಗಳದ್ದು ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನಾನಿದ್ದು ಅವರು ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, FKCC ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. FKCC ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಅವರು ಬಂದ್
ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು.
ಸರ್, ಅಕ್ಕಿದ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಕ್ಕಿ.
All right, I'm cutting across to Anaka Keshav, joining us live for more on that. Anaka, tell us more on the power tariff hike. We believe that even as 200 units of free electricity has given to most households in Karnataka, domestic purposes, when it comes to commercial use, it appears that the increase in tariff by nearly 2 rupees has really cost the industry itself. It's become quite a bane for them. They've now threatened to shut shop if it's not corrected. Tell us a little more about the difficulties that they're facing, the band that they've called for, and the government's assurance to them.
You know, there is an outrage across Karnataka from all the trade bodies. They are now crying, saying that we are having to pay a much higher fee. For example, previously it was 4.15 rupees for 50 units of electricity, but now they are having to pay 4.75 for 100 units of electricity, and it's only and it only increases with each slab. So this is the massive hike in electricity prices, the energy charge that we are seeing, and that is why the trade bodies right now, you know, they are threatening that if this situation is going to continue, we would have no choice but to face losses. We will not have any profits left, and we have no choice but to pack up our shops and go home. This is the kind of outrage that we are seeing, and even FKCCI called in for a bandh across Karnataka. FKCCI, which is in Hubli, had called in for a bandh for all the trade unions against the government, saying that the hike in electricity prices was absolutely unfair and uncalled for. We did not sign up for this. All that we wanted was the 200 unit of free electricity, and now you come and tell us that we have to pay the arrears for the month of April and May, which which is a huge number. We absolutely cannot afford. That is why they called for a bandh on June 22nd across Karnataka.
But now, despite assurances, whether they are still going to, we believe that the Congress government has tried to assure the chamber, the commerce body, but they've not got a satisfactory response. Siddaramaiah has very clearly said that power tariff will not change, but it could be lighter from the next month on. Yet now the commerce body is still going to be holding that statewide bandh. Will the government buckle is the question. Anaga, thank you very much for joining us. But in the meanwhile, Karnataka government now is trying to revive brand Bengaluru. The kind of the damage that the Bengaluru city as a brand itself has taken owing to the kind of floods, infrastructure breakdown. DK Shivkumar, the Deputy Chief Minister, now has held this meeting with prominent Bengalurians, stakeholders in the city, many CEOs, all top faces in the city, to really chalk out a blueprint for city's development, and the time target given is 6 months. This blueprint will really guide the Siddaramaiah government into developing the city in the way experts suggest when it comes to issues like water management, city's traffic for that matter, water availability, urban infrastructure itself. All of that is going to be chalked down and how to give the best to people of Bengaluru. In this major outreach initiative by DK Shivkumar, prominent Bengalurians that met at Vidhan Sauda shared their ideas to fix Bengaluru, and those top faces included names like Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy, Rishabh Premji, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Mohandas Pai, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, the Kirloskars, Devi Shetty, Harish Bijur, V. Ravichandar. These are the names, the prominent faces that were invited to this meeting with DK Shivkumar. In fact, this is known as Bengaluru's task force. This Bengaluru task force initiated a meeting like this and a conversation to try and fix Bengaluru mess. Now, how far this would go and what kind of blueprint would come in 6 months, of course, India Today is going to be tracking those developments very closely. Now, cutting across to the Congress party in the state of Karnataka, as more news coming in, the Congress, which is usually at the receiving end on allegations of appeasement politics. This time, it's the Karnataka Congress that's hurling the accusation at the BJP in Karnataka, pulling up the BJP government for compensating only Praveen Nittaru's family and ignoring the other Muslim families who were victims to communal violence in the coastal region. The Congress has accused BJP of appeasement politics, of trying to pacify just one Hindu community while sidelining the rest. And in a bid to correct that precedence, the Karnataka government has now announced compensation of 25 lakhs to families of those victims who were killed in communal violence, 3 of them being Muslims. Compensation from the Chief Minister's Relief Fund has been provided to families of Masood, Muhammad Fazil, Abdul Jalil and Deepak Rao. These are 4 apart from Praveen Nittaru, who were all killed in a spate of communal violence cases that came in a year before Karnataka elections. BJP had in fact last year announced compensation to only Praveen Nittaru's family, also built a house for his family just to fulfill Praveen's dreams for them, nearly 75 lakhs that house it cost. The party also had compensated the death of Bajrang Dal worker at that point, Harsha, during the hijab crisis. The Congress finding a fitting opportunity to accuse BJP here of appeasement politics.
ಕಮ್ಯುನಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಶ್ಗಳು ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಆಗದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ, ಹಿಂದೂಗಳಾಗಿರಲಿ, ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರಾಗಿರಲಿ, ಇನ್ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಕಮ್ಯುನಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಶ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯಬಾರದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನ ಕೈಗೆತ್ಕೋಬಾರದು. ನೋ ಮಾರಲ್ ಪೊಲಿಸಿ. ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಕೈಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಕೂಡದು.
All right, Anaga, for more on that. Anaga, you know, I myself was at Praveen Nittaru's new home. The family, of course, is devastated with his loss. They were compensated 25 lakhs. His wife was given a government job. They built a house for him of nearly 75 lakhs. All that was given to one victim of communal violence, murder. While all the others, 3 other Muslim boys who were also killed, and most of them are innocents. They were victims to the kind of communal clashes that ensued in coastal belt of Karnataka ahead of elections. Now, the Congress rightly finding that opportunity to target BJP, saying that you are practicing and playing appeasement politics. We will correct the wrong that you have done. They've now announced 25 lakhs to all the victims.
Well, that's right, Nabila. Even Chief Minister Siddaramaiah hit out at ex-Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, saying that, you know, when Bommai was in Bengaluru, he visited Praveen Nittaru's house but refused to visit Masood and Jalil's house. Why couldn't he visit the other 2 Muslim families as well, while he could go visit Praveen Nittaru's house? Remember, Siddaramaiah did not have any objection for Bommai visiting Praveen Nittaru's house. His only contention was, when you could visit one particular community who lost their lives because of communal clash, why not visit the other community as well? You know, a government cannot be biased in any way. That was also a very stern message sent out by Siddaramaiah, apart from saying and sending out a very strong message that no moral policing will be accepted in the state of Karnataka.
Nagha, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, at this point, all the other victims now, apart from Praveen Nittaru, also we had Deepak Rao, Masood and 2 others, 4 of them apart from Nittaru, all of them now being compensated by the Congress government in Karnataka. Now, as the Congress continues with governance in the state, we still see the fight and tussle for the Chief Minister's post that continues. Loyalists now of both D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah continue to battle, backing their bosses to become Chief Minister. Of course, Siddaramaiah is already in the post of CM. He's on the CM's chair already. His loyalist and Karnataka Minister H.C. Mahadevappa has asserted that it is Siddaramaiah who will complete that 5-year term, because that was what was decided in the meeting with the High Command, and he will complete the 5-year term. While on the other hand, loyalist of D.K. Shivkumar, MLA H.D. Tammayya, has requested a seer, a guru, to bless D.K. Shivkumar that he soon becomes the Chief Minister of Karnataka. So we are seeing the 2 camps, the camp members itself now making public media statements there, batting for their, their idol to be the chief minister or become the chief minister. This power sharing pact itself was very subtly decided, we believe. Our sources tell us that the Congress High Command had given a word to DK Shivkumar, also conveyed to Siddaramaiah that after 2.5 years, DK Shivkumar will take over as the chief minister of Karnataka. But Siddaramaiah's camp says that's not true. Well, DK's camp says that's what's going to happen. Now, the power sharing formula is not announced in public, but the Congress leaders, the top high command of the Congress itself has hinted that DK Shivkumar will take over the reins. But what really happens in 2.5 years' time, we've got to see. Clearly, that matter has still not settled.
ಈಗ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ. He will continue as chief minister. He is the chief minister. He will continue as chief minister. He is the chief minister. He will continue as chief minister.
DK ಸಾಹೇಬರ ಪಕ್ಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನಡೆದಿರೋದೇ ಸತ್ಯ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಕೋರಿಕೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾಳ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ನೀಡಿ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಯನ ಮೋಟಮ್ಮ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸುಧಾಕರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಹೆಬ್ಬಾಳ್ಕರ್ ಅವರು ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇದರೆಲ್ಲರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಶಕ್ತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಡಿ ಕೆ ಸಾಹೇಬರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಡಿ ಕೆ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಗುರುಗಳೇ, ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ವಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ.
All right, we're going to continue tracking those details from Karnataka, but for now it's a wrap of this edition of 5 Live. I'm going to slip into a short break. Coming up next, 6 p.m. Pride with Akshata, amid all that raging controversy on Adipurush's dialogues that's hurt religious sentiments. A film now being demanded, the makers asking them to apologize, to take away dialogues that are controversial. I&B Minister Anurag Thakur has finally broken his silence, saying that no one has the right to hurt religious sentiments. He almost hints at the censor board now to take charge and maybe axe those parts that are bothersome. Stay tuned to India Today.
A 21-gun salute, state banquet, congressional speech, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the United States promises to be high in form.
To you,
Symbolism aside, the Prime Minister's official state tour of the world's most powerful nation is going to be equally high in substance. A visit that offers an opportunity to US to strengthen its economic and security cooperation with India. More so when the Biden administration seeks an Asian partner as a counter-influence to an increasingly assertive China.
China's grown its economy from about 5 trillion only 10 years ago to 18 trillion just in 10 years. Now, they've done some of that in very bad ways. And they've run up a lot of debt. But I think India is doing it the slow, methodical way that they need to by encouraging trade with that huge consumer base, as well as somebody who can produce a lot of things that are both technologically advanced as well as just production. I think we can pair with them in very good, beneficial ways to both countries.
India's economic system has changed for better in the past 9 years. Supply chains and industries better linked than before. A more resilient industrial production also in place. India prepared to talk to the US from the position of strength during the upcoming visit, especially in the areas of critical and emerging technologies, high-powered computing and regulatory barriers coming in its way.
A number of the deliverables at that visit are not just bullet points on a page. They are fundamentally designed to remove those obstacles in defense trade, in high-tech trade, in investment in each of our countries, in taking away obstacles that have stood in the way of better collaboration among our scientists and researchers, in stimulating greater access for our students going both ways, for Americans coming to India, Indians coming to the United States.
On the plate is a rich yet balanced program. No heavy tilt towards one over the other. It is quite natural that when the India-US delegations would meet, the global impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict would definitely be one of the points of priority questions. With US Secretary of State Antony Blinken expected to face a chilly reception in China during his much-awaited trip to the Beijing this weekend, the atmosphere in Indo-Pacific region, regional security, India's fundamental strengths and the situation in the subcontinent likely to figure in discussions during Prime Minister Modi's visit to the US starting next week.
This partnership is crucial for fostering peace, prosperity, and stability around the globe, especially in the Indo-Pacific region.
Both sides concretizing agreements. The official announcement is expected once pacts are finalized. With Geeta Mohan, Bureau Report, India Today.
We often slather oodles of sunscreen on our faces in summers. Pick the choicest of products for our face. Use sunglasses to protect the eyes. But what about our hair? Summers demand special care for hair. Curated hair care routines to tackle frizz and dryness. As you embrace the summer, you must make sure that you tweak your skincare and hair care routine to look your absolute best during the hot and sunny days. The maximum damage is from harmful UV rays. UVB radiation is responsible for hair protein loss, and UVA radiation is responsible for color changes.
In summers, it really depends upon the scalp type, because if there is oily scalp, then it produces more oil. So then the answer is no. But if the scalp is really dry, like some people, they have very dry scalp, and they have kind of psoriasis and all those other stuff. So their oil is needed even in summers.
Here are some things you must do. Experts advise using products that cater to fragile hair. Often we end up making common mistakes like using products without seeking advice from a professional. Using thermal styling tools without using a heat protectant, or even using the wrong comb. Also, our hair care products must be free from chemicals like sulfates and parabens.
If I explain to you a little bit about sulfate, it is like a foaming agent.
Voltas Pure Air 6-stage adjustable AC. Ajio Big Bold Sale.
Adipurush stokes epic controversy.
अपनी शक्ति पहचानो बजरंग, जो तुम कर सकते हो और कोई नहीं कर सकता.
Protests and politics over film.
Bollywood, hi, 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 hi.
आज एक फिल्म में जिस तरह से हिंदुत्व की नौटंकी और तमाशा बना दिया है, उसके ऊपर कोई बात नहीं कर रहा. ये ढोंग क्या है?
Government seeks overhaul.
डायलॉग बदलने की बात है, वो भी कही है. किसी की भी भावनाओं को आहत करने का अधिकार किसी को नहीं.
Makers promise revamp after outrage.
हम वो डायलॉग्स बदल रहे हैं बहुत जल्द. मुझे लगता है कि लॉजिस्टिकली सब क्लियर होने के बाद अगले 2 से 3 दिनों में ये डायलॉग्स थिएटर में होंगे.
Epic insult of Ramayan or creative liberty?
Bhiksham Dehi.
Adipurush showdown, top focus on 6 p.m. crime.
From its dialogues to the looks of the main characters, Adipurush finds itself in the eye of the storm, so much so that its unstoppable box office run has also been dented. We're getting you the latest updates on that big controversy. First, the headlines. Political war over Gandhi Peace Prize. After Geeta Press was awarded Gandhi Peace Prize, Congress itself says it's like awarding Savarkar and Godse. Incessant rains trigger flood fury in Assam, Chennai and Rajasthan. Across 13 districts affected in Assam, situation only expected to get worse. And meanwhile, North India reels under an intense heat wave. Temperature in parts of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar rises up to 45 degrees. 100 people have lost their lives. Big escalation in Bhopal after a viral video of a youth being made to act like a dog comes to light. After protests and outrage, house of the accused demolished. Cops slap NSA against the accused. After massive power tariff hike, trade body fumes in Karnataka. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says bills are heavy due to arrears. And all eyes on Prime Minister Modi's mega US visit on June 21st. Super boost to India-US trade and defense ties. Indian diaspora awaits Modi visit. So the latest film to find itself a big talking point in social media is Adipurush. It's led to protests, it's led to politics, as many are now opposing this film, saying it's hurting Hindu sentiments. Let's round up first for you all the updates coming in. On your screens are images right now of protests as Adipurush is facing public wrath from across the country. Demand is growing to ban the film. Hindu groups took to streets in Lucknow and burnt posters of the film. Congress has also taken to the streets, registering their disappointment over the film, claiming that the film hurts the sentiments of Hindus. Congress workers burnt the effigies of the dialogue writer Manoj Muntashir. As anger grows against him, now Mumbai police have provided security to dialogue writer and lyricist Manoj Muntashir after he claimed a threat to his life. Cops are also investigating the matter. Amid all of the protests, some support pouring in for Adipurush. Ayodhya Sir Mahant Raju Das has extended his support. He called those who are protesting against the film a part of the Tukri Tukri gang. Not just in India, but in Nepal too, that there's controversy over this film. The Nepal mayor has halted the screening of the film. T-Series has now written a letter to the Nepal mayor clarifying their intent behind the film. It also mentions the filmmakers didn't intend to hurt the sentiments of the people of Nepal. As a result of Adipurush, all Hindi films have been stopped now in the country. So ever since Adipurush released on Friday, you've been seeing a lot of opinions being put out on social media discarding the film, questioning the